Well, welcome to the Living Treasures of Los Alamos ceremony, where we honor a few individuals who have had a great impact on the people of our community, helping make Los Alamos a better place. And I'm sorry I wrote this year, and I'm afraid I won't be looking at you enough. First, let's acknowledge any attendees who are living treasures. Please stand so we can see you. I know there's at least a few. I'd like to also acknowledge and thank my fellow board members who worked to solicit nominations. Oh, by the way, I'm Nancy Coombs, the Living Treasures Board. The fellow board members who worked to solicit nominations, make the difficult decision of who to honor this year. It's always really hard. And to organize the event. Please stand. Cindy Boone, Don Casperson, Cindy Eaton, Craig Martin, Pamela Massey, Jen Neal, who is not here, Kate O'Donnell, and Debbie Reese. Finally, thank you Bernadette Lauritsen and Craig Martin for writing biographies for the treasures, Carol Clark of Los Alamos Daily Post, and Mara O'Neill of the Los Alamos Reporter for publishing the pieces. If you haven't seen the biographies, it's worth going on one of those websites and looking them up. If you're interested in serving on the board, of course we have to ask, please reach out to one of us after the ceremony. We are always seeking financial support as well, so we can continue this tradition. We don't have a lot of expenses, but they include the copying, the beautiful medallions, and hosting this event, as well as a luncheon for all living treasures later this fall. Although we begin requesting nomination letters in the spring, our email box is open all year round. If any of you here sent nominations after the deadline, I'm sorry that we didn't respond to you. We'll set up an automatic response this year. Nomination letters stay active for 10 years, so anyone who has been nominated prior can receive additional letters of support. In making a selection, we consider the breadth and depth of a nominee's volunteer efforts. Many of these people have also had really awesome careers. Nominees must be living and residing in Los Alamos County. Look at our website listed on the brochure, which most of you got, for more information. After the ceremony, I hope that you'll stay around to visit with our honorees and enjoy some treats catered by Pig and Fig. Now it's time to hear from our honorees. My brief introductory comments are taken from the letters of support, so there's some very nice things. The seats up here. If you would like to make some comments after the honoree speaks, please come up and sit here so it moves more smoothly and I don't jump up and introduce the next person before everybody's had a chance to speak. Okay, now we go by alphabetical order. Our first nominee is D.
So why do we sit down? No?
No, not yet. I have to
Okay.
figure out how to do this. My printer was broken this morning. Maybe not. I will let Dee speak for herself.
First of all, I want to, can you all hear me? If you can hear me, wave your hand. Good, all right. Thank you. First of all, I want to tell you all thank you. Thank you. I feel a little bit, well, as Beth Patillo, my friend, says, my guest has been totally flabbered. I'm just so honored. This is a wonderful town. This is a beautiful place to live. It's a lovely, lovely town, and it's full of wonderful people. And I feel a little bit like I just slid into this because I have just been having fun. My life has just led me from fun to fun. I grew up Girl Scouting. I went to Girl Scout camp. I learned 20 or 30 new songs every year. Eventually, I learned to play the guitar, and that was a magic key when I started substitute teaching as a fraught profession. But I could walk in with my guitar and say, if we have a good morning, we can sing after lunch. Bingo. Just no problem at all. So from there, when Bob brought us here to this town, Girl Scouting was waiting, and I just slipped right in. Turned out the one thing they needed more than anything else, they had a beautiful council song, and nobody knew it well enough to teach it. Well, talk about falling butter side up. I mean, really, that was so easy. So that led to singing with Girl Scouts. I wanted to know more about this town, and Bob had a family friend who invited me to join the Historical Society. And let's face it, this little town has more than the average amount of history going for it. So it was really fun to learn that history and substitute teaching, etc. It was easy to take those suitcases into the classroom. All of this was easy. Twilight Camp, what a great thing, you know? There's so many good Girl Scout songs, and the little girls love the funny songs, but I wanted to make sure they would learn the songs they would still love when they were 70, and I'm in a position to know what those are at this point. So, I have had a wonderful, wonderful life, from joy to joy, from fun to fun, and I'm going to tell you all about it. I think that we can all make a difference, and as usual, the words that say it best for me are in the songs we sing. So, I can make a difference. Yes, I can. I can be a friend and lend a hand. Now I can't remember. Hold on. My cheat sheet, yeah. I can make a difference. Yes, I can. I can be a friend and lend a hand. I can make a choice and take a stand, and I can change the world. And you can make a difference. Yes, it's true. You can choose the things you say and do. You can help the earth and people too, and you can change the world. And we can make a difference if we try. We can work together, you and I. We can do our part, and by, we can change the world. I can change it. You can change it. We can change the world.
Thank you so much. So I can't figure out the technology either, but some things I remember that you didn't mention. Dee worked at CB Fox for quite some time. She was at the front desk, and she was such a great ambassador for Los Alamos. Also, she worked at the music store. And she took music into the schools at Mountain Elementary School. She brought the songs there. It wasn't just the Girl Scouts. Something important to think about is the hundreds of girls that she impacted learned values, they learned skills, and they went out and shared that with the whole world. So her impact goes far and wide. Another thing I learned about you was that you started an adult group of adventurers. First one was teaching women backpacking, and they did a trip to Wheeler Peak.
Everywhere.
And then everywhere. They went around the world. They did bicycling in Europe, and they did ski from yurt to yurt. So that's really important. Think about all the impact that has spread out from her impact.
Hello. So I'll try and be brief. I think one of the greatest gifts we can give other people is our time and effort. And Dee has given that to us in abundance. She has brought music into our lives, and if any of you have Girl Scouts, then you sing the songs that Dee has taught us. My girls continue to sing them. They've both done music in the schools. They didn't get this from me. I attribute it to Dee. Dee means so much to us. She's my favorite part of camps. She's my favorite part of Twilight Camp, and I don't know how to tell you how much I appreciate everything you've done for us.
Good afternoon, I'm Beth Patillo-Smithson, and it wasn't my idea to nominate Dee Morrison. It was Stephanie's. And it came in an email to me, and it said, Beth, I was curious if you might be able to help nominate Dee as a Los Alamos Living Treasure. Wow, what a great idea. And then I thought, and I said, yes, of course, I'd be happy to. And, but then I thought, there's so much of life to cover. I knew Dee as a neighbor, a friend, and a Girl Scout. So, just like Stephanie, I ask others to share information and thoughts. Dee's involvement in our community has had a very far-reaching effect, as Nancy says. The path took me on a journey of contacting old friends from New Mexico and the country. Memories were being shared by old friends and acquaintances. What fun. And Dee had no idea. That was great. Many shared her love for music, leadership, Girl Scout program knowledge, outdoor camping skills, winter camping trips to Girl Scout camp, trips to the Boundary Waters, travels abroad, her organization skills, but mostly about her enthusiasm and Dee's ability to encourage girls and adults to be empowered. Teaching adults to let go and let girls take the lead is not always an easy task. Who thinks a 5-year-old can lead a hike or an event? Well, through Girl Scouting, Dee taught me and that they can, and in turn, I became a mentor and got to teach those skills to other adults too. The answer to that question, of course, for a 5-year-old is to make it age appropriate. And what girls and adults learn in Girl Scouting from Dee spills over to schools, neighborhoods, our community, country, and world. These skills and character development also ensure a future of leadership in whatever a girl or an adult wants to do with their life. Girl Scouting allows for networking, involvement, and active citizenship. Dee has promoted and lives all the Girl Scout values, emphasizing being honest, fair, helpful and caring, and respecting oneself and others. To quote Dee, helping other people is just plain fun. As a girl, Dee Morrison made the Girl Scout promise to serve God and her country, to help others at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. She really didn't have any idea where her life was headed at that time. Those values have led her through her life from Idaho to New Mexico to become a Los Alamos living treasure today, not only as living a lifetime of Girl Scouting, but serving her community where she could. At the Los Alamos Historical Society, leading walking tours, I remember taking one of them, taking local history into the 4th grade classrooms. She played in the Los Alamos Community Winds, and today she's volunteering at the Senior Center, as well as continuing to be a Girl Scout volunteer, creating the leaders of today and tomorrow. My daughter, Jessie, calls Dee an everyday Los Alamos treasure. One of the people that makes growing up in Los Alamos memorable. And Los Alamos has so many treasures, and you're all here today. Inspired by Dee, I had this thought. The desire to be kind and to help others where you can doesn't change much throughout your life, just the color of your hair. Dee, you've shared so much with me in this community. It's an honor to be here with you today, my friend, former neighbor, and sister Girl Scout. Thank you.
I'm Courtney Thomas. I'm Dee's niece from Boise, Idaho. This is my first time in Los Alamos, and I can say, wow, this place is special. Might move here, actually. But my Aunt Dee, when I got to see her, and they drive the motor home across, and with Taylor, Kate, and Jenny, and Tyler, and Amy June, and all my cousins, and we'd come to my grandma's house in Boise or Idaho Falls, and it was always when Aunt Dee got that guitar out. Oh man, I was so excited because I love to sing. So she taught me songs I didn't know. Puff the Magic Dragon is still one of my favorite ones. What you have done for your community and what you've done for your family and what you do for others, it's amazing. And thank you. You inspire so many people and you inspire me, and I'm so blessed to be here to support you and this family today. Thank you.
I'm Aislinn. I'm one of the Girl Scout. I'm a Girl Scout in this town. I've been a Girl Scout since kindergarten. And I remember first time I went to Twilight Camp, Dee was leading songs, as she always does. And I think that was the first time I actually started learning the slower songs for Girl Scouts. I had been to Girl Scout camps in Texas, and we always learned the really fast songs, the exciting ones that 5- and 6-year-olds loved. And I finally learned barges, and that was one of my favorites. It's still one of my favorites, and I'm so glad that you have continued coming to Twilight Camp and all the Girl Scout things and teaching all of these songs. And most of the songs that I know now for Girl Scouts, I would never have learned if I hadn't learned it from you. So it's really grateful that Dee has been our song maven for however many years now, decades probably, at least decades. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Mike Thomas. I'm Dee's little brother. Dee's little brother. I'm from Boise, Idaho now, originally Idaho Falls, but when we grew up in Idaho Falls, our family, we were all Girl Scouts. So. I tried to stand at the Boy Scouts, but man, they just didn't have it. They didn't even tie knots. So, it's been a really good life of helping. They were donated a ranch up out of Salmon, Idaho. The Boy Scouts didn't want it. The Girl Scouts said, "Oh, we'll take it." And so we were able to grow up, bringing the pump house to work. It took a couple years. The lumber the lumber lean-to or the lumber sawmill turned into a cafeteria. The barn turned into a dormitory. And it was a great way to grow up. It was really fun. And so what I want to say is really proud to be a Girl Scout.
I'm Jenny, and I don't think that anyone could be luckier than to have Dee for a mom. I remember she said to all three of us when we were in high school and in that, not quite so straight and narrow phase, and Mom saying to all of us, don't ever try to go behind my back or get away with something. It's not because I will check up on you and I don't trust you, it's just that I know everyone. and it will get back to me. And then later, when, we're all grown up and doing our lives, and it's like, yeah, but you know everyone. And she goes, no, I don't know everyone. And you go, what about that guy? And she goes, I don't know. Oh, yeah, he plays the clarinet. He comes in for reeds. Yeah, she knows everybody. And I think the most amazing thing and the strongest thing that I've taken with me is that my mother sees the light in every single person. That it doesn't matter who you are or how curmudgeonly or grouchy or hard to get along with, my mother sees the beauty and your joy. And so it's really shaped my whole life, and I think both of my siblings, we look at people and always see where they might be coming from, see what they might be struggling with. And I think that's just who she is and who she's always been. And I will forever, ever be grateful for it. She's been amazing. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hetty Dunn, And I was the director of the History Museum from 1978 to 2011. And I don't remember, Dee, when you started in as a volunteer docent, but it was a long time ago, but I still remember your enthusiasm and your willingness to help. I never think I can remember a time that you turned me down unless you were bedridden or something. And that spirit of giving and cooperation and enthusiasm, she says the easy part was those suitcases. Well, let me tell you, we had those upstairs in the wing of Fuller Lodge, and there was no elevator, and they were not light. And there were several suitcases often that had to go out to the classrooms, and a lot of learning behind the scenes, writing the scripts for them, memorizing them. And for some people, just facing a class of 4-year-olds or middle schoolers is not easy, except for you maybe. So we are all still so appreciative of your help for the Historical Society, and you'll later hear from me about Georgia, and there are so many others in the community that really pulled us through. We had very little staff at the time, I think 2 employees, me and a volunteer to run the bookstore originally, and then I never really had a secretary or executive assistant. So I couldn't go out there on your school trips. I was stuck here with the phone, but I know that you did a terrific job as always. So many, many thanks, Dee, and it's great to see you here, and you deserve this honor.
I'm Sunny. I don't remember much of it, but I was told that Dee helped lead my first Girl Scout troop in kindergarten. She also helped teach me the guitar. So I learned to play guitar at Twilight Camp right after COVID, so maybe around 2020, 2021. I've kind of just kept playing the guitar since that. I did guitar through school with jazz band. Yeah, she kind of just helped bring music and songs.
If anybody can find some batteries, maybe we can get the other mic up. Okay, we're going alphabetically, so next up, Shelby Redondo. Redondo, Los Alamos community and residents have benefited in many ways from Shelby's volunteer efforts. Her conviction that everyone should work toward improving their community has led her to help and support various causes. She began working for Los Alamos Public Schools in 1984, where she taught special education in elementary classes until her retirement in 2010. And of course, she had a major impact on all of the students and the families of people that she worked with. As a master gardener and agronomist, Shelby built and tends the garden in front of the senior center. She tends several other gardens too, just because she loves flowers and she wants everybody to appreciate their beauty. She served on the board of Mesa to Mesa and worked on projects to improve the living conditions of people in need of minor repairs on their homes who couldn't do it themselves. As president of the Summit Garden Club, she was involved in plant sales to raise money for scholarships and for various causes. Shelby has been involved in registering voters, including setting up a table at UNMLA and educating college-age students on the importance of voting, and sports as well. Shelby has volunteered at the Jemez Trail Run and the Los Alamos Triathlon. She's a master swimmer and went on the Aquatic Center Subcommittee. She was a driving force, honestly, behind the leisure pool. Her persistent persuasion included collecting hundreds of signatures and presenting support documents to the county council to convince them to move ahead with the project. More recently, Shelby served on the board of the senior center, where she volunteered to serve meals and was involved in cleaning up after the meals were served. Shelby Redondo, thank you.
I feel like I'm standing before the county council.
Oh, but we don't have to make a decision.
I would like to thank the committee for awarding me this honor. Looking at past Living Treasure recipients, I am truly humbled to be among them. I would also like to thank my family, Tony, Rebecca, Michael, and Tomas. They encouraged me to pursue my passions. They endured late night meals and my persistent, my son said, angst. My persistence on advocating for issues important to this community. When I retired from teaching after 24 years, I was excited by the prospect of volunteering. Being a volunteer taught me that a volunteer can receive as much reward as do those individuals receiving assistance. I was introduced to Building Kindness, now called Mesa to Mesa, by Joyce Eister and Kathy Wilcott. This nonprofit made simple repairs on the home of low-income homeowners. I volunteered along with Ricardo Marti and his wife, Lisbeth, and also Michelle Thompson, Kathy Wilcott again, Todd Urbash, and Rod Gardner, to name a few. We built ramps, installed smoke detectors, and replaced windows. We added a second egress to many of the mobile homes by repairing a door and adding steps. Many of the homeowners we served often made use of our tools. One mother-daughter pair built a cupboard with our tools using leftover plywood. Another favorite repair job involved a woman who was paying a prorated monthly utility bill of $500. In February, she had a broken window with a hole the size of a soccer ball, and a kitchen floor peppered with holes, and a sink with no floor at all. I share this story often, and it just makes me want to cry. So I'll try not to cry. But after repairs were made, the homeowner danced across the street with her new bucket and mop. Dr. Frederica Smith introduced me to the Aquatic Center Advisory Subcommittee, also known as ACAS. Dr. Smith and Rosemary O'Connor had been working hard for years to have a leisure pool built for children. With the retirement of Dr. Smith to Maine and the passing of Rosemary, volunteers of ACAS continued to promote the idea of a leisure pool. Among those included in the project were Irene Powell, Deborah Rutherford, Kathy Walters, and Terry Fox. And of course, I can't name everybody, but those are the ones that were very active. Also involved was Denise McCoy, and over 700 volunteers, 700 voters supported the petition to construct a leisure pool. This beautiful facility would not be possible without the encouragement and support of county councilors Kristen Henderson, Sarah Scott, and Antonio Maggiore. I would like to thank my friend and colleague Jane Young, who was always nearby to encourage me to speak out publicly, whether it was at the Roundhouse, speaking about educational issues, or the Los Alamos County Council, addressing the need for a leisure pool. As you can see, it takes a village of volunteers to make positive change. Thank you. Let's see.
You want to move back here?
Oh, I don't know where it's supposed to go. Okay.
Can you hear me? Yes. I have a loud voice anyway, probably don't even need it. It's what happens when you raise 4 kids, etc. I'm Jane Young. She's been my friend and colleague for I don't even know how many years. But I'm going to read what I wrote when I recommended that she receive this honor. I wrote, Shelby Redondo's passion. You hear me okay? Shelby Redondo's passion for and commitment to the Los Alamos community make her an ideal candidate as a living treasure. The list of her contributions is long and varied and covers a years-long dedication to the betterment and, in some cases, the improvement of lives and living conditions. When called upon to volunteer, regardless of the activity, she readily accepted due to her belief it was beneficial to the community and to the identified individuals. Shelby arrived in Los Alamos in the summer of 1983 with her husband, Antonio, and 2 young children, Tomas and Michael. Her daughter, Rebecca, was born here. She had previously lived in her home state of West Virginia, Utah, California, and the country of Venezuela. She earned a BS in agronomy at Utah State University, which at that time was an unusual course of study and vocation for a woman. She earned a master's degree in education at California State, Los Angeles. While living in Pasadena, Shelby was employed at the Therapeutic Living Center for the Blind. It was her initial introduction into the value and benefit of volunteering, which is a path she followed during her years living in Los Alamos. In continuing to help handicapped residents, Shelby became involved as a volunteer with the developmentally delayed students at Los Alamos High School. She then began her employment with Los Alamos Public School in 1984, where she taught special education, first grade, a second, third grade combination class in different elementary schools in the district. She was a dedicated and committed teacher until her retirement in 2010. During the course of her career, Shelby raised her family and contributed to be involved with a group of parents who formed an organization to provide a group home for their children with special needs, which proved to be successful. Shelby's concern and passion for helping people in need included not only Los Alamos County, but also the county of Rio Arriba, where she thinks of it as a neighbor. In the spirit of neighbors helping neighbors, she was on the board of Mesa, which is a nonprofit organization formed to help those individuals in need with a project which improved their living conditions with minor repairs to their homes. She also participated in fundraising to purchase the materials for the repairs. As a master gardener and agronomist, Shelby continued her passion for her chosen field as president of the Summit Garden Club, where she was involved in plant sales intended to raise money for different causes and a scholarship for a graduating senior at Los Alamos High School. My daughters received that. And I'm very proud of that. Sorry, I figured out where I stopped. In 2 successive years, she potted and sold 400 to 300 plants to benefit Mesa to Mesa projects. Shelby was a secretary on the board of the senior center, where she volunteered to serve meals and was involved in cleaning up after the meals were served. Respecting her civic duty and under the guidance of the county clerk's office, Shelby was actively involved in registering voters for more than 2 years. She set up a table at UNM Los Alamos where she discussed the importance of voting with students. She is proud of the year she registered 99 students to vote. She also volunteered as a poll worker for several elections. Shelby volunteered at the location of several blood drives and gave sandwiches to the participants. They're having a blood drive now, I think, too, aren't they? I always think of that. You have to go give blood, Jane, okay, and get a sandwich. 2 other of her volunteer efforts involved the sports community. She was stationed along the path of the Jemez Trail Run, where she assisted the organizers by handing out water and keeping track of how many of the participants were on the trail. Shelby was also involved in the triathlon, not only by participating, but also by assisting others with designated needs by handing out water and fruit. Shelby is a master swimmer and was at the Aquatic Center and was on the Aquatic Center subcommittee. I believe that what emphasizes the passion she feels for swimming and the benefits of learning and being able to swim from a young age was her passionate, persistent, and persuasive lobbying to have what is now known as a leisure lagoon to be an integral part of the community. I think of it as Shelby's pool, sorry. She collected signatures on many occasions and in many locations over a period of time. She presented supporting documents and data to the county council in order to raise the funds to support this endeavor. Its conception and design include features such as a lazy river slide, zero entryway, which make the experience of being in various water conditions not only enjoyable, but safe. The Los Alamos community and its residents have benefited in many, many ways from the activities Shelby has pursued in making it a better place in which to live. Her involvement, willingness to help and support various causes is her conviction that everyone should work toward improving their community. Her contribution should be lauded and honored with the distinction of being named a living treasure. Thank you.
What do you think about coming up here and speaking about Miss Shelby? My name is Denise McCoy. I recently retired from the Walk-Up Aquatic Center. My last day was on April 30th. And so I've enjoyed the last 6 months of just being really quiet. Miss Shelby, the day I met you, it wasn't at the Aquatic Center. My son was in 6th grade and we moved out here on New Year's Eve, 2006. And my son went from middle school to elementary school. He was so mad. Oh, he was finally a big boy. And I said, yeah, now you get to be the big boy again, a 6th grader instead of the low level, right? Miss Shelby was there for Conlon, and he had delayed reading and reading skills and writing. He was smart, and Miss Shelby knew it. She helped him and encouraged him. She has helped so many students, I'm sure, throughout the community that I have not even imagined. You've touched so many lives, and you are the heartbeat of the Aquatic Center. She would walk into the Aquatic Center and she'd go swimming and we'd talk every morning. Love this woman, just like a sister, even probably better. One of the strongest women I've ever met in my life besides my mother, but she was ornery. She was never ornery. Getting to watch her health decline as she got older, the swimming pool was a place where she was safe. She shared her love with people and compassion for the Aquatic Center. And she helped me get through 18 and a half years there. Nobody's going to beat that, I guarantee you. It's a tough job. Got a lot of opposing people, and she never opposed. She kept us up. And I appreciate every moment of that. Miss Shelby, you are my living treasure along with the community of Los Alamos, and I thank you for your years of encouragement, support, and love. Now, I've got to share one thing with you, Miss Shelby. My son, Conlon, is now 31 years old. Can't believe it myself. He is raising 3 children, and he's expecting number 4, and they're redheads. And he's a redhead. I swear to God, she can clone a child. This woman here, everybody, I admire her, and I hope that you do too, if you've gotten a chance to even get to know her. If you haven't, Shelby, you're going to have some phone numbers at the end of this day. Thank you, everybody.
I promised myself I was only going to speak once, so I'm going to say a few words about all the nominees. Because Dee, I have known you about as long as I've known Shelby, 43, 44 years. And you are a fixture in Western area. I know you have been a fixture for this community, and I think this honor is fully and wholly deserved. And I'm glad to see you inducted into this group. Jerry and Georgia, you guys are staples, fixtures. What you have done to promote tourism in this town and everything that comes along with it, which is often not easy and an uphill lift, I cannot thank you enough, because you guys just keep showing up and keep putting in all the effort, and it is truly inspiring. And now, Shelby. I learned what it means to fight for others, to stand up for what is right. I learned so much of that from you, from dinners at your house and listening to you talk about your students and your tribulations and how much you believed and how much you were willing to fight for those students, for their future. It was wholly inspiring. I wouldn't have the love of plants I have were it not for you. And seeing you continue on, and I will admit, when I got on council, I would have backed the pool because you wanted it, period. But you took time and sat down and made sure that I understood why that pool was so important, which made voting for it so much easier. And the reasons, when you started spouting statistics about what percentage of the county didn't know how to swim, or surrounding communities didn't have access to learn how to swim, it's a terrifying thing. And you have always stood up against injustice and have always stood for what's right, and it has just been an honor, an absolute honor to know you, and I'm so happy to see you get this.
Hello, I'm Kathy Wilcutt, and I taught with Shelby. And I could tell stories for the rest of the day, but I'm going to tell two stories, one about the school and one about the repairs in the other communities near us and in our community. When I was teaching my last years, and I guess hers too, we were across the path or the hallway. It was more like a path than a hallway, but across that small space. And Shelby had a class of, I think they were fourth graders. And one day there was kind of a ruckus in her room, and I didn't have any students at the time, and I poked my head in, and they were all headed out the door. And Shelby, at that time, was in a wheelchair, I believe. And she was carrying something in her hand that looked sort of like, I don't know, some weapon you'd throw like this. And she took those kids out to the playground, and I tagged along. And she was in a wheelchair, and she had an atlatl, is that what you call it? The thing you throw? And she had one, and they were studying, I don't know what. But she took that and she threw that thing, I swear, more than 50 yards down that playground because there were no other kids except her own and me out there. And that was truly an astonishment to see from someone sitting in a wheelchair to be able to do that. And the other story I want to tell you is that I did work with her on the home repairs in this part of New Mexico. And I one day watched her with a size of a trailer court house, you know, the trailers that were in those, that big. She single-handedly put I don't know the name of it, but the metal that you put around the bottom to increase the heat and she did that herself. I mean, seriously. And that just blew me away that she could do that. I could go on for a very long time because we worked together for a very long time and I was always amazed at what she could do. But I can think of no one that has contributed more, not just to Los Alamos, but really to northern New Mexico from Los Alamos. And I'm so proud of her and so pleased that she receives this recognition.
How about one more round of applause? And we finish up today with a couple, which has happened in the past. We've had two people. You can't say one is great and not remember the other. These two are both amazing people that have done so much for the community. Georgia and Jerry Strickfaden have contributed 4 decades of continuous community service in Los Alamos. Their work spans historical preservation, civic education, faith-based initiatives, and philanthropic planning. Georgia was born in the old Army hospital near Ashley Pond, and she spent her youth riding horses on the Pajarito Plateau. Lucky her. She developed a love for our history and a willingness to share her knowledge. For 35 years, Georgia's Buffalo Tours, which became Atomic Tours of Los Alamos, in the yellow van, you probably all saw it around town at some point, helped people from all over the world gain an understanding of what this town is all about, beyond the laboratory, that there's real people here. Georgia readily volunteers to share Los Alamos history to groups such as Leadership at Los Alamos, and I'm sure others. Jerry didn't get to Los Alamos till he was 5 years old. He has an avid interest in the engineering history of Los Alamos. He searches through Army Corps records to document the significance of buildings, roads, trails, and artifacts. For years, he served on the Fuller Lodge Historic District's Advisory Board and helped shape the county's policies and protection of its historic resources. Jerry is an amazing advisor for anything related to Cold War era of Los Alamos history. Together, Georgia and Jerry established an endowment for the historic preservation on the Pajarito Plateau at the Los Alamos Community Foundation. And as members of the Preservation Advisory Board, Jerry and Georgia watch over historic properties and do not hesitate, this was from a letter, to speak up when water sprinklers are harming the Romero cabin or when there are concerns about nails in historic buildings. Jerry and Georgia have run bus tours from Los Alamos to the Trinity site for many years. The tour includes educational information along the entire route. They do this as volunteers, donating all the funds to the Historical Society. Liz Martineau sent me a letter this morning saying she was so sorry she couldn't be here. She's away. She finished saying, "When I think about what really makes them living treasures, it's the way they treat others. Georgia and Jerry are kind and welcoming to everyone. They readily share their knowledge, talent, and treasure with others. If you are lucky enough to meet them, you are welcomed to the family. Our community is stronger because of Georgia and Jerry." I have to say, when I called them, Jerry said, "Oh, give it to Georgia, not me." Okay, this is Georgia. And that can be made longer if you want.
Thank you.
Take this first.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the community of Los Alamos who has supported us. You know, we've felt very supported through the community. And so we thank you for that. And I also think you should know about Jerry's mechanical abilities and abilities with cars, because he won't say anything about that. He helps people diagnose and then send, you know, so that, like, if you don't know what it is, he'll help diagnose it and then send you to the repair shop so that you have some knowledge that they're not pulling the wool over your eyes or anything. But for us, through the years, the support of the communities and sub-communities within, like our faith community, the historical community, the business community, for me, that's a whole different world. If you have not been involved in business, other than just buying things from a business, it's a whole different world and a very great community to be a part of a team. And that's what I always felt was I always called it Team Los Alamos in tourism. And this involved people from the county of Los Alamos and every business, and especially the support of the Chamber of Commerce and business, you know, as being part of a team, non-competitive, but you're all doing your part to make things run forward, and it's a very satisfying team. And so, and then the outdoors community, and we would not be involved in tourism if it wasn't Jerry's abilities with vehicles. And when I first had the idea of starting my business, and well, we're going to need a community, you know, a vehicle to do it. Because you could do walking tours, but there was more that people needed to see. I felt, you know, I felt that people needed to know these things and not go away with the wrong idea of Los Alamos. So, so I had to drive them, and I happen to like big vehicles, and I like driving vans. So he said, well, I'll maintain the vehicles, but you're going to have to do the tours. I said, that's the idea. So in order to get going and to be able to do that, you know, certainly Jerry is an important part of that. So we thank you.
The only thing I can think of to say is I'm just so incredibly amazed and humbled that you'd add my name to that list that's in the brochure. And if you know me, you know I'm the last person in town who would wear a coat and tie. But I wanted to show off the Oppenheimer tie that Georgia bought me years ago.
Okay, I'm Mac Hyman, and I guess your nomination started when I looked at the Wall of Fame for Los Alamos Living Treasures, and I was just astonished that you guys weren't up there. And so I thought it'd be a hard task to put together the package, but it's something that really needed to be done. And I learned later it was a hard task because I had such a big response. Not only from the tours, which we all know about, I mean, there were thousands of people that you introduced Los Alamos and the Trinity sites, and as you say, you introduced the people in the city, not just the historical value of the city. People from the county boards and the impact you had there. The building we're in, the preservation of the, you know, we take these buildings and these historical sites for granted. they didn't happen without people like you behind the scenes, setting up the infrastructure so they'd be preserved. The Historical Society, the United Church, there were several people from the United Church that could have almost made a package in their own, the impact you've had, or the stables. Again, the stables don't exist and they aren't we don't have these facilities just come out of nothing. They come out of people doing the hard work of noticing something that needs to be fixed and then fixing it. And that's what the two of you really add to this community. And I've had the pleasure of knowing you, getting to know you closely the last few years by having breakfast. We have a breakfast club, a small group of us every Saturday morning, and I see several members here, and I think every Saturday we learn something new about the community. And it just, the other thing I meant to say is when I sent out for letters, the hard part was deciding how to stop the letters, because after the first dozen came in, and there were letters, of your civic activities and the tours, but there were also letters from people that said when they first came to town, somehow they magically ran into two of you, whether it was to teach you at the stables or around town, and it was like you embraced them as part of your family, from the first meeting. And that's the way we felt it. I think we all feel the Breakfast Club is you're part of the family and part of our community of families. And so I'm so thrilled that this really came through, because you two, I think, exemplify what it means to be a living treasure. So.
Well, I'm going to try to do what Antonio did. I've known Dee for a long time, and I couldn't pass the music shop without popping my head in, because you have such a wonderful, contagious smile, as you all know, and you always made my day. And you still now, when you pop in to our ukulele group at the Senior Center to come and sing with us, that makes my day. Thank you, Dee. It's been wonderful knowing you. And Shelby, we met at the pool 30 years ago, swimming, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and we're still doing that, trying on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings to keep swimming. And I especially got to know you working on the leisure pool and in ACAS, and it's been such a pleasure working with you. Thank you. And as Antonio said, your motivation, how you kept going, we have that leisure pool because of you, and thank you for that. We all enjoy that, and generations will keep enjoying that. Thank you. And George and Jerry, oh my goodness. Literally 35 years ago, we had moved in near the stables. My daughter, Lauren, was 10 years old. I've always enjoyed riding and horses, never had one, but when I saw those stables across the street, Lauren and I walked over there, and who did I bump into at the stables? I think you were one of the first people that I met in this town. I still remember you wearing that knit cap. You were out at your barn, and you shared with us, you showed us, it was wonderful. And soon after, Lauren and I started taking riding lessons. You let us use your horse, Toda, for those riding lessons. But then we got a lot, and we've got horses, and my daughter and I enjoyed those times together because of you and your influence doing that for us. That morning you also shared about the United Church, and we had been looking for a church. So here we're still at the United Church after 35 years. And of course we got to know Jerry right away also. And wow, yes, you are one of our oldest, dearest friends here in this town. And we've enjoyed the hikes, the dinners, and we just want to say thank you. The community thanks you, and we thank you for being in our lives.
Too much equipment up here. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Is this on? Okay, you can hear me? All right. So I have a little bit of a abbreviated history, Georgia. I don't remember exactly when you and Jerry started. Do you remember what with the Historical Society about what? Sorry?
Margaret Wahlberg was the chair.
Oh, okay, so you go way back. But in any case, what I want to highlight is some of the things that we interacted together on, and Jerry too. You're cutting yourself too short, Jerry. You just wrote a wonderful article about a building very much like Fuller Lodge that's up in the mountains near the Colorado border. And I want to go with you sometime and find that place. And I also remember you doing some wonderful talks for the volunteers and some of our members. We had a little process called Lunch with the Collections, and I would bring down some artifacts that were either very unique or very new to the collection or very strange. And I think, Jerry, you brought some things for us to figure out. I don't remember what they were, but you had some fascinating talks about some of the things that either were in our collection that we didn't understand or that you had brought from your home. And as I say, I don't remember what they were at this point, but very, very interesting. So what I have here is some dates that I'd like to highlight. One being the moving of the Romero cabin, which was way out on Pajarito Road, to its present locale, and that was 1984. And Jerry, I think you helped on a committee that took care of historic structures, and along with Ron Wilkins and some other folks. And then in 1988, Georgia, you joined the board of the Historical Society, and we also nabbed your mother, Mary Strickfadden. She served on the board from 1991 to 93. But in any case, in 88, when you joined Georgia as an at-large member, Bart Olinger was president, and that was the same year that I kind of got really geared up on our lecture series. And I invited a novelist who had just written his first book about 3-4 years earlier. And I thought, oh, he's probably going to go somewhere. He seems like an up-and-coming guy. His name was Tony Hillerman. And he was right here in Fuller Lodge. And I'm sure you helped with the arrangements because you always helped with all kinds of things, whether it was guiding a visitor around and giving them a little update about Fuller Lodge and the ranch school, or just welcoming or training the docents to give that kind of information. Then I have here that I think, unless I'm wrong, the first tour to Trinity Site was 1990. And then we had this grand reunion for the members of the ranch school. And a little quick history lesson here, you know, the boys wore bandanas, and Georgia, you always had a bandana. It was sort of your trademark. So we made these bandanas for the ranch school, and 1990, this was 1997, but the first reunion was 1991, and just for a little fun, I want to show you that the ranch school logo is reflected not only on the lanterns out on the patio there. You'll see this design of the clouds and the rainbow, and down here is the stream, the zigzag. Well, those, if you look in the next little anteroom there through the doorway, those lamps reflect these rain clouds, the storm clouds that's right here. And that was all John Galmeem's doing. He came up with that. It isn't a coincidence. And these zigzags for the river are on the lanterns outside. Those two lanterns are stair steps, and all of those are from Native American imagery, but they are also in this ranch school bandana. So I kind of hang on to that. Don't wear it much. And then we had a grand occasion to have a fundraiser with tour and lavish dinner up in the Valles Caldera. And nobody up at that time was allowed in there because the Dunnigans had it as a hunting ranch, so hunters could go in, but the general public could not. And I'm going to give you this picture just in case you don't have it. But here we are. This is Georgia, me, Margie Bowl, who was living in the Arts and Crafts Cottage, and Irene Powell. So, I don't know if you can zoom in on that, Jean. I'll try to hold it steady. 1991. And it was a really fun event and a huge fundraiser for us. I think we made $20,000, which in today's money is who knows what. But to us, we were just astonished. And then we thought, gee, we should have charged a little more because people got a dinner, an art auction, and a book. I don't remember which one, but it was one of our newly published books. Irene, you were very pivotal on that, all of that work. It was a huge effort, but it paid off in grand fashion. And then these are from a much later time, but you all are here. This is one of our galas. We'd put up a tent here on the lawn and have an auction and a dinner and just a lot of fun. So anyway, going on with my timeline, let me see. I wanted to highlight a few other things that you were such a big part of. As I said, we had a second reunion with the ranch school, and seeing those fellows in person, we saw them as kids in the pictures, and just to see them grown up was amazing. One fellow, I'll never forget, he was 79 at the time, and my office was up here on the third floor of the lodge, and there is a third floor, you just can't get there anymore. Anyway, he ran up the stairs and he wasn't even out of breath. And he came from Dallas. So I was really impressed with that. These boys were living the ethos of what they learned at the ranch school to stay physically and mentally alert. Anyway, and then we had some big landmark occasions to note, and one was the 50th anniversary of Los Alamos County in 1991, and at that time your mom was on the board. And then we had for the, where is that? There was a 50th anniversary, oh yeah, a 50th anniversary for Los Alamos County in 1999. And the, excuse me 1 second, let me see. Okay, in 1993, going back a little bit, the Los Alamos Big Band made its debut performance at a canteen dance for the 50th anniversary of the Manhattan Project. And I wanted to have a theme. It was in the fall, early fall, about this time of year. I thought it would be great to have bales of hay, pumpkins, fall leaves, and so forth. And I looked at those bales of hay. They got delivered, and they were just sort of dumped in front of the community building. And I thought, how am I going to get those into an arrangement? And, oh, maybe I can call some Boy Scouts real quick. And I'm scrolling around, and I come outside, and they're all stacked up and arranged, and Georgia had moved those bales of hay, and I said, Georgia, I can't even think about pushing them, much less lifting them. She says, I have a horse. What do you think? It's nothing. So you saved the day for my decor with that. And then, let me see. We had some, Georgia was just pivotal in whatever was going on, and Irene and all of these wonderful docents. And you know, another thing that you did, Jerry, was every subsequent trip to Trinity, I'm sure you were the right-hand man for Georgia, and drove down with her and helped corral the troops, right, Georgia? We had many other things to celebrate. The 100th anniversary of Oppenheimer's birth was celebrated in 2004, and we had a gala dinner. I'm not sure if, for sure you were involved in the planning for that, but our guest speakers were like a who's who of atomic history writers. It was Richard Rhodes, Robert Norris, Joseph Cannon, Greg Hurton, Kai Bird, and Frank Saz. A 2-day event. And so a lot was happening. The archives was also helping at the time in 2006 with the preparation for the opera Dr. Atomic. And the reason they came for our help was that the scenic designers, the costume designers, the set designers, the prop makers, they all wanted to know the real details so that when they zeroed in on a military shirt, you could be sure that the badges and the insignia were accurate. And so it was wonderful getting to meet with those people and see the opera come eventually to Santa Fe. Then in 2007, the Romero cabin was finally fully restored, and I had forgotten all the help that we had from people here, the governor's office, the lab, and a huge, nice grant from the National Park Service. So, so much happened during my time as director. I could go on, but one other thing that I'll bet you were helpful on, Georgia and Jerry. In 2011, there was a homestead tour designated with 17 historic site markers in town, and I bet you had more than a little bit to do with that, because with your knowledge of the stables and how that was a homestead era property, you helped a lot. So thank you both for absolutely being a part of this history in more ways than maybe you realize, and I'm sure that your enthusiasm and loyalty continues, and we congratulate you for this great honor, which you very much deserve. Oh, and here is our bandana from that Baca tour up at the Valles Caldera in 1991. So, thank you.
Everyone, thank you for coming today and celebrating these wonderful people. Please enjoy some food and take some time to talk to all these wonderful treasures that are here.